What up, though? All praises go to the Most High, man. This your boy Trill again, man. And today I would like to talk about, just life in general, being creative in a sense. You know what I mean? In this life, I'm truly creative. I got a lot of my creative inspiration, of course, from my mama, my daddy, relatives like that. But in my later years, I got a lot of my creative inspiration, from moguls, such as like L.A. Reid, Berry Gordy, El Chapo, Big Meech. All these people were super creative, All these people were super innovative, Like, all these people had to, really make a way out of no way, in a sense where everything seems soaked up and oversaturated and, really couldn't find new ways to get, the same old stuff did. They had to think outside the box, And like, one of the best ways to be creative, really the only way to be creative, is using your imagination, And I gotta give my parents a lot of credit for that, especially my mama, because when I was young, she used to always make me read a lot, And then when I went to prison, it trickled on into that situation, you know what I'm saying? Because I read a lot in there. And one thing about reading, why it helps your imagination so much and it sparks your creativity, because we can all read the same exact thing. We can all read, oh yeah, he was coming down the block in a green car with some nice rims on it. He was dressed casual with some white loafers on it, and he had a beautiful woman in his passenger seat. But we could all get a different mental picture from that. You know what I mean? It could say green car, but some people might imagine dark green. Some people might imagine lime green. Some people might imagine aquamarine green. You know what I mean? We could all think of a beautiful woman, but some people might think of, a white woman. Some people might think of a light-skinned woman. Some people might think of a dark-skinned woman. And if it don't go into certain details, you know what I mean? It's like, that's when your imagination really thrives, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's when your creativity really gets to, showcase, So like, even with my name Trail, I done had a billion names out here in these streets, you know what I mean? Real talk. But even my name Trail, like, that was just something that was very creative of me, because like, where I was, moving around in at the time, in the back of the apartments, it was a trailway or a pathway. It's like some parts of it had like some little sidewalk, and then the rest of it would be like dirt. But everybody will walk the back of the path, the back trail, you know what I mean? That's where I had all my people meet me at. So literally, that's how I got my name, because I was always telling people, meet me on the trail, meet me on the trail, meet me on the trail. And I'm like, shit, I'm Trail. Fuck you mean? But now I'm using that name, same name, but in a different context. You know what I mean? It's like a double entendre. You know what I mean? Because now I'm using it as like a trailblazer. You know what I mean? Like, everybody know a trailblazer is somebody, to create a path, to create a way. You know what I mean? To blaze a trail. So, because I feel like us as hoes, like, we in such a digital world nowadays, you know what I mean? Like, we could all learn so much and get so much from each other through our experiences in life, you know what I mean? And like, a lot of people feel like because of all the stuff they done did or all the stuff they done been through, it's hard for them to talk about God, or hard for them to embrace the Most High, or hard for them to, to be able to speak freely about God, you know what I mean? But hell no, God is in every part of life. The Most High is in every part of reality, you feel me? If you in the streets, if you in the club, if you scamming, whatever you doing, like, God there, nigga. God see that shit, you feel me? So, you know, hey, talk about it. You feel you might help somebody else get through a period of time that they going through. You know what I mean? You might help somebody else, you know, feel the love. Know that they not just lost out here. Know that they don't gotta go down such a dark path. You know what I mean? Because I done been in the streets and hella niggas done told me, like, you know, nigga, don't never bring God into this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Because I been saying all praises go to the Most High. Like, I be in the streets, some crazy shit go down. And it might be me doing the crazy shit. You know what I mean? Or it might be somebody else doing it. And, you know, I always give a glory to God, you know, for getting us through that shit. You know, we're making us emerge on top, you know what I mean? Come out victorious, you know what I'm saying? Because no matter what the struggle is, you gotta know that the Most High got you through it, you feel me? Like, yeah, you had faith in yourself, yeah, you had to put them actions in, but it was God's energy that gave you that, you know, that gave you that victory for real, you know what I mean? It was God's energy that protected you for real, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So, but you know, as far as like, you know, just life in general, man, it's just like, we just gotta embrace, man, you know, embrace the life that we have, you know what I mean? Love your life. Life will start loving you back, you feel me? Like, just love this shit. Release all that hate, man. We gotta release all the doubts, all the worries, all the fear. And it's easier said than done. Like, it's easy as hell to say that shit. It took me years and years to become fearless. You know what I mean? And it's only through God's grace, you feel me, that I actually became fearless. Because whether you know it or not, like, when you have confidence is like the opposite of fear. When you approach a woman and you confident, you come off stronger, you come off, you know, your words is clear, you ain't stuttering. When you approach a woman and you scared, you ain't looking her in the eyes, you stuttering, you know, you looking all jittery, moving all jittery, and you gonna have a completely different outcome. Same man, you could be saying the same stuff, it's the same woman you talking to, but when you confident, it's like you more aligned with victory. You know what I mean? Like, you more in resonance with victory. You know what I mean? Versus when you fearful, when you scared, or when you in shame, or when you doubting yourself, you more in resonance with a L, straight up with a loss. You feel me? A loser got a lot to fear. You feel me? Flat out. So it's like, we just gotta realize that, man, you know, and just realize, man, that we can create the life we want, you know what I mean, with our imagination. Like, I was watching that boy Dame Dash the other day. He was like, man, he was saying some real shit. He was like, man, a dream is free. But niggas always, you know, dream however they dream. But it's like, a dream, you don't gotta pay for a dream, so why wouldn't you dream the biggest shit ever? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you have the biggest dream ever for yourself and for your people? Why wouldn't you? It's free. It's free. You don't gotta do nothing to dream. I can sit here and dream right now about going to Mars and shaking Elon Musk's hand and sitting there with Oprah Winfrey and Jay-Z. And I can dream about all type of stuff, being on a yacht in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. Like, it's free to dream about this shit, y'all. Like, it's free. You know what I mean? So, you know, we gotta get bigger dreams. You know what I mean? We can't be scared of our dreams. We can't be scared of what another person gonna think about our dreams. You know what I mean? Like, we just gotta know that, like, a dream isn't, everybody is entitled to dream. You know what I mean? Everybody is. So we gotta go forward. You know, we gotta dream big, man, so we can get some big shit. Flat out. Love y'all. Good thoughts, good vibes in a minute.